Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the GenAI Africa podcast, where we decode the future, spotlight African innovations, and also amplify your voices that are shaping Africa's digital future. I'm your host, Wongegile Fulani, and of course, I'm not alone. I'm with Tulani, our co-host, and we are joined by a special guest who's doing groundbreaking work within the space of AI talent. Remember, we spoke about AI talent and also making sure that we position young people at the center of the digital transformation journey through digital skilling or through innovative skilling. So today is about skills, it's about Gen AI, it's about natural languages, processes. So we just want to know also about AI youth ecosystem, because we want to make sure that young people are leading the journey of the digital future in our continent. Tulani, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, explorers. Hello, explorers. I am Tulani, and I'll just be keeping an ear today and just listening in on the conversation and asking questions there and there. So yeah, very excited to chat with Mr. Fanie Ndlovu.
Yeah, well, that's so good. That's so good. Fanie, welcome to our Gen AI podcast. How are you, sir?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting in this amazing podcast. So I'm quite very happy to just explore some ideas and have a conversation. So yeah, I can't wait to have a wonderful conversation in the era of AI.
Wow, thank you so much for also joining us today. We're looking forward to an inspiring conversation. And as we've been dealing with AI youth ecosystem stories in this podcast, we just want us to tell you. I want you to tell us about the community of over 600 developers. As a tech coach, why do you think it's important for South Africa to have such a community, and also have a vibrant, sustainable ecosystem for developers and innovators?
Okay, perfect. Thanks for such wonderful question. It is very critical to have vibrant ecosystems. If you might look our stats of unemployment in the last quarter that were reported by Labor Force Survey that is done by Stat SA, you find that 33% of South Africans are unemployment, and majority, which is 46%, is youth. And what does it mean? It means that jobs are not there, and generative AI, it come with a new way of economy, a new way of skilling, a new way of doing business. And this is bringing a lot of opportunity, because unemployment, what it simple mean that there is a raw talent sitting there. It's like minerals or like gold and platinum. That's what currently happening, and tapping into this young people energy through ecosystem, it's going to play a very significant role into growing our economy through job creation. Because what it does, generative AI bring new businesses into the space. We know, again, the reality is our economy, it's quite rigid. How do I mean by that? It means that certain businesses or certain big organizations are the one who are controlling the economy. But when new technology come, it tried to replace old way of models that were suffocating the economy. So that's why ecosystem play a vital role into ensuring people are getting skill faster, compared to if now I have to go through the traditional way of learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, we fully agree with you. And I think we must make sure that we support the digital skilling initiatives, because that's how the African continent will contribute. So my next question, like to a person who doesn't know what is Gen AI, can you explain what is Gen AI? Like to someone who's currently listening now and they don't even know what is AI, what is Gen AI. Can you try to simplify for our explorers?
Okay, perfect. So, generative AI is type of AI within the AI as field. So let me make an example. What is AI? AI, it's simple mean you take the ability of a human being, the ability to see, the ability to speak, the ability to generate new information, and you put it into the computer. So once you take those capabilities and putting into computer, it become an artificial intelligence. So that's what AI is. And within our phone, your camera, if you put, then it can identify your face to say like, okay, this is the face, and you can adjust like your exposure through the camera. It is because now the phone, it can see your field. So that's what we call computer vision. If you travel, you go in China, you go into any African country, let's say you go to Kenya and they're speaking Kiswahili, and you don't understand the Swahili, what you can do, you can use AI through language translation. So what it means is like you translate, it's like if you're in court, someone translating, but now that capabilities is put into the computer. So that one is more of like translation services. And then now let's talk in terms of generative AI. I speak on the computer vision, ability to see. I spoke about the ability to understand the language, translate it back so that human being can communicate easily. Then when you talk about Gen AI, you talk about creating of a new knowledge. Now you go on ChatGPT, you ask it there to say like, okay, you can ask any topic about, let's say, diseases, to say like what caused COVID-19. What it will do, it will generate a response for you. Or you want to generate a picture of someone who's dancing, then you can generate someone into dancing. So what it does, generative AI, it just simple meaning that you are generating information, but now instead of human being will write. In school, they will say write an essay. What you were doing that exercise, you were generating information about what you were prompt. The prompt was a lecture, said like write about his essay of Nelson Mandela when was released. So you were generating, but now those capabilities are taken from you as a human being and are mimicked into computer, like or software, like your open AI or your meta AI within your WhatsApp. So in simple term, generative AI, it's simple mean the ability of generating new knowledge in form of text, in form of pictures, in form of videos.
Wow, that's so informative. Like I like how we have simplified it. Like even for someone who doesn't have understanding of information communications, yeah, and technologies. So I like how we have simplified it, and like we hear people talking about AI agents. Can you tap on that and explain what are AI agents? What are AI powered chatbots? Because it seems
Okay.
like, yeah, it seems like the future is going that direction where like people are just relying on AI agents for any activities.
So agent, it simple mean something that do or that represent you into doing certain thing. Let's say you think of soccer, you hear about agent for players. So the agent are the one who sell for players. So they do the task on behalf of the player. Or if you are traveling, you want to go to Joburg. I'm in Durban. I want to go to Joburg, but I'm too busy to schedule my flights accommodation. What I'll do is I will contact a traveling agent, and the agent will do those tasks on my behalf. Then now let's talk about what generative AI has done. So Firstly, it started creating more knowledge, but there it was more of your just completing generating it. It was waiting for you to ask it, then it goes and fetch information. And every time for it to do a particular action, you have to instruct it. But now, generative AI, one element of it, they have created what we call agents. So agent, like I made an example of traveling agent, they do you task on your behalf without you intervening with the process. It's like they are automating those processes. Think of now, at the moment, traveling agents, I call, I give them my ID, they go and book flights for me. Now with generative AI, instead of calling a traveling agent, I can go in ChatGPT, activate what you call an agent mode, and I say, can you please book the flight ticket on my behalf? What is happening there? We know now on the downside, it means it taking away the jobs of those agents, but now on the benefit side, it make those costs less because I just pay ChatGPT 400 rand and say, go and book for me a flight. Also, after booking a flight, book me accommodation in Joburg, which is my budget is around this. So the agent will do the job on your behalf without me clicking. So that's what simple mean of the Gen AI or AI agent.
Wow, thank you so much for that information. If you're just joining us now, you are listening to the Gen AI Africa podcast with Future Speaks African. Just to talk about now on looking at the digital infrastructure, and as many African countries now are currently busy with the adoption of AI and also are busy trying to make the regulatory framework for AI adoption. So I want us to speak about the infrastructure that we need as the country, South Africa or Southern Africa as the region, or Africa as the continent. What kind of infrastructure do we need for us to quickly or to adopt AI technologies very fast? In your opinion?
Okay. So the infrastructure part, you're touching more in terms of it's a very a difficult one because of at the core of AI, it's electricity and it's mining and it's the manufacturing capabilities. So if we want to participate into the infrastructure element part of things, firstly, we need to get our supply of electricity to make sure it's good. And secondly, we need to make sure that we understand the minerals that we are extracting. We need now to protect them. So I'll make one example. So what you see with your likes of America, what they do now, they started to go into other countries and negotiate to get into rare earth minerals. So those rare earth minerals are very strategic component of building your chips, building your copper for the cables. So that's why you see that they are using some of their political power to start to secure those deals. So it means as Africa, we need to take such tough decisions of how now do we start to protect our own natural resource? How do we make sure that we start to produce our own electricity? Because these things, they require a huge electricity. Then again, you need the talents that can handle such infrastructure. So those are the foundational things that need to be addressed first and should not be viewed as just a 5-year thing, should be viewed from a 20 years perspective. Not in a reactive, but in when now we have AI robots that are walking around the street. That's how we need to start to think. Not with just AI, but with what will the AI and robotics will look in the next 10 years and what types of minerals or materials that we are going to need how do we start to secure them, not to expand, not to export them? Because once we export them, it means we will be left with less of those things that will not be helping us to produce the infrastructure that is necessary to handle the demand and supply of managing AI capabilities.
Absolutely, and like many other people also talking about data centers, because they're saying that AI requires like a massive of data set. They are also complaining that there are no data sets that are reflecting the realities on the ground, and there's a problem with African data sets and also data centers. They were also talking about computing power. So, like, what is your opinion around the issue of data centers, cloud services, and also computing power?
So, as I say, at the core, it needs huge amount of electricity, and that's the second thing. And you need a huge skills of people who can handle those things. And again, for you to run those for processing power, you need like your AI. It doesn't need normal servers. It need what we call GPUs. And now you need people who are skills. America has stopped to send certain GPUs to anywhere in the world because they even flagged it as a national security risk because that's how critical it is. Without having those GPUs and knowledge and size of it, it's going to be a little bit impossible to build a very competitive data center that can compete with your Microsoft, your Google, your AWS, because they are American data set. So it's from an African context, as I say, we need to start to think in the next 20 years, not thinking with the current mindset, because it's very impossible to prepare a huge functional data center that will compete with your Azure, because America protect their own businesses.
Absolutely. And like as you're talking about data, I want us like to also tap into data sovereignty and data privacy. And as we talk about AI, some people are talking about ethical considerations when it comes to AI adoption. So, what is your opinion around AI ethics and also data sovereignty?
Okay, so in terms of the data, I'll talk from the part of most of this AI that we are currently using are trained using data set of your America or your China, your Europe. So it doesn't cater our context as Africans. So that's one challenge in terms of, that's why now these AIs are lacking to speak our own languages, because the reality is the data set of our own languages is not there.
Yeah.
So that's one problem. Then in terms of the data severity, in terms of our freedom, these data centers that are running are your European, are your, let me say, Chinese, American. So that's where they are running. It means these people can access it anytime they want. And remember, why now they can have such power? Because let's say someone can sign an executive order of say, like, I want to pull that information. And it actually happened with the current conflict of where Israel used Microsoft services to listen the call of the Palestinian and bomb the Palestinian based on that information that they collected. So that's one kind of the ethical part of it, where these are used for war. And there was a huge, even Microsoft started to cut that. So it's from the ethical point of view, you start to see this AI are used to kill people. You know, from ethical point of view again, because now we talk with these things daily. What happened is we over-rely on them. And as we over-rely on them, there was incident where now someone, it's a parent that's suing OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, to say like, ChatGPT acted as a counselor and it suggested some suicidal thoughts. And that child, I don't know, he ended up killing himself or herself. So, from the ethical point of view, those are the things that need to be considered to say, like, this can be used to fight wars. And we have seen it, what Israel has done. Secondly, it's something that is publicized. Secondly, we start to see that these people are starting to over rely on them and asking even critical advices where it can advise. Again, if this thing, from ethical point of view, this generative AI, it is very important to continuously inform the people where it got that information. So, firstly, from safety and security, from health, from those are the things that need to be considered.
Wow, thank you so much. And also, like, what is your opinion with regards to having AI AI powered solutions that are created within the African continent? Like, why do you think it's important for us to create even our own platforms, our own WhatsApp, our own Twitter, our own Facebook? Like, why do you think it's important for us to at least now try to tap into that space?
Yeah, so with the current, I'm always going to refer to our global politics. Someone can wake up and sanction us saying that, hey, you're not going to use our dollar, or we are going to sanction you to use our monetary services. So what it does simply mean that once they can just say you are not going to use a dollar, it means all the services, this PC that you are listening on, it's some services that enable us to even have this podcast. They are made possible by America. And let's say it sanctions us. It means all the services that we have, they are no longer going to work.
Yeah.
And so for us to build our own things, it simply means that even when someone's tried to put pressure on us through example of sanctions, we are able to still continue functions independently and freely and not making decisions because we are afraid that we are going to be cut off. So that's why it's very important for us to be independent and from our monetary system, from our solutions that we are using in terms of communication, and sometimes to protect ourselves from, we know that there is cases where propaganda was sent strategically into changing the beliefs or to try to collapse the government. So things like having our own solutions, it can protect us from certain foreign elements. It can come from west, south, from attacking us or sending a particular propaganda because they don't like a way of governing or they don't like things the way we are doing. And it can happen from south to east, from the west. So it's not only coming from the west, even Asia, it can come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember we had I think during January, February, we're having an info war. So is South Africa, and because we always depend on other people's platform, so they were able to drive a narrative that there's genocide in South Africa, while it was actually a propaganda and fake news. Fanie, thank you so much for joining us. It was absolutely, it was an absolutely pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for the insights that you have shared with us today. So, as someone who's working with developers, what is your last word with your motivational word? Yeah, motivational word with regards to the developers that you're working with, and also any other young person who's currently listening to the GenAI Africa podcast.
Okay, perfect. So I always say it was this week where I said something around. I will go back to the stats of South Africa. As I say, 46% is youth. But then one thing that is surprising is 12% are only graduates. So what does it mean? It's go out there and get those qualifications. Our economy at the moment, it might not create jobs, but statistically it's proven if you are a graduate, your first step is if you're a young person, you're in matric, go out there and get your qualification. That's the first thing. After getting your qualification, don't see that university as a space where you just there to get your qualification, get your cum laude. Universities are our universities are well resourced. It doesn't matter which university. So students need to use those opportunities to build their skills, which is use those unlimited Wi-Fi, powerful computers, events that are happening on campus to skill themselves. Let them volunteer, because volunteerism also, it helps in terms of building their reference in terms of their CV. Because you can be a good developer, but when you apply for a job, they are going to ask you for a reference. So that reference, if you are not having it, you can have a nice cum laude or Dean's Merit qualification, but you're not going to get. So go out there and volunteer. Go out there, open your LinkedIn, share your projects that you are doing, because sometimes when you get asked into the interview what projects you have done, they will want to see, okay, please show us. Go out there and do those projects, showcase them, so that when it comes for your job, it's very good. Revamp your CV. Now ChatGPT can help you to revamp your CV. Go out there and ask to say, I want to apply for this developer role. Then please, these are the projects that I've worked on. So please revamp my CV. ChatGPT will give you as one pager. So those are the things that I will just say to say, like, go out there, get a qualification, build your skills by volunteering, go build your LinkedIn, share your projects there, and revamp your CV. Very good.
Thank you so much. I hope our listeners or explorers were inspired by this conversation, and as we know that we are really dealing with a very frustrating situation in South Africa of young people who are unemployed. So thank you so much for this information. I hope they are going to apply it and like take it serious. To our listeners, thank you for staying tuned. And don't forget to like and share. Our channel is GenAI Africa Podcast. Until next time, stay curious. Bye.